Hello and welcome to my video today. I'm going to be getting the OS 2.6 OTA update installed on my Fisker Ocean today. And I'm going to be showing you that process as well as an overview of the changes. So let's get started. As with most OTA updates, it's always a good idea to have the car at a fairly good state of charge. I'm actually charging mine right now, and while I'm doing that, it's also charging the 12-volt battery, and it's important to have at least 80 to 85% or more state of charge on the 12-volt battery so that when the update occurs, it has enough to cover that process. I also recommend having a good 4G or Wi-Fi connection to the car so that it can get downloaded quicker. When the update comes, it'll download and you'll get a little box on the screen that will let you continue the installation. At that point, exit the car and lock it and let it do the update. I am not sure how long this will take. Definitely do not open the car up until the update is over. So I am going to let the car charge up and I'm expecting the update sometime in the next half hour or so. All right, it's time to open up the car. All right, so the update was downloaded and I now have this dialog box here that says a new software update is available for your Fisker Ocean. You can go to details or dismiss. Okay, so let me press the details. Oh, by the way, my 12-volt battery is fairly charged up here. It's at 99%, 13.1 volts. So I am going to press details. And here we go. We have OS 2.6.0.4 update available. I'm going to press install now. And here is the warning. Estimated installation time, 30 minutes. Software installation starts in under 5 minutes. Driver and all passengers must exit and lock the vehicle for installation to begin. During this update, your vehicle and climate controls will be unavailable. Do not leave pets or young children in the vehicle during this process. Shifting the vehicle into gear will cancel the installation. So I am going to get out of the car now and let it do its update. And locking it. And I'll be back in about 30 minutes. All right, so I left it alone for at least 45 minutes. Let's go inside. And I'm gonna start the car up. And here we go. We have installation complete. Your Ocean software has been updated to the latest version. Let's click on what's new. And they still don't have the updated screen for this. So I'm just going to close that. So on the software screen, we see we have OS 2.6.0.4, and here is the ICC version. When looking at the menus, starting from the top and going down, they are all the same, except when we get to music, there's an additional Autokit button right here. However, I haven't seen exactly what it does because when you press it, it gives this message, Autokit isn't working right now. So once I find out some more about that, I'll let you know. As we go down through the other ones, they're the same. We have a new icon here for Hollywood mode. And then this one is Autokit. and we have the fan and the settings. So in order to get the Hollywood mode to work, you need to go into settings, go to connectivity, and there's a new setup here for the Wi-Fi Connect. You have an off option, a media Wi-Fi, which is what is used by the Hollywood mode, and an OTA Wi-Fi. So for example, I have the media Wi-Fi connected to my phone, and the OTA Wi-Fi I could have connected to my house Wi-Fi if I wish. So you have to make sure that this is on and active. Otherwise, this will not show up. So if I show you a test here, if I have Wi-Fi off, notice that button is now gone. So it's only there if you have this active. So let's go and press this, by the way. And we have a new screen that comes up. We have two apps, but they're not really apps. They're really just web links here because this is really using the browser. And we have YouTube and Prime Video. Let's try YouTube. I had my account set up previously, and I had to redo it for this. Give it a second. And yeah, so I'll need to sign in. I'm going to use my login. All right, so it doesn't seem to be letting me sign in. I'm not sure why. Let's exit out of this and start Prime Video. And I do have an account set up with Prime. And if I want to watch videos, there's a Prime button here. And I can go through and watch Prime movies and TV shows, etc. here. So if I just test one out here, I'm just going to press. All right, so I am going to watch the trailer. All right, so that is an example of Prime. I'm going to switch it over to Hollywood mode now. And if we go back into the Hollywood mode app, it's going to start all over again. So it doesn't seem to be consistent between the portrait mode and landscape mode. So I was curious on that. So let's try this again. And yeah, it looks like it just restarts the web link. I am going to try it again. Let's let it run for a second. What I think it's doing is it's caching the episode. All right, so that is super slow. So it's ready to watch, but I am going to click on trailer. And I'm going to try to make this full screen. All right, I'm going to hit pause on that. So there are some options up here. Video quality, you can have good, better, or best. I have it on the highest setting here. So it ranges from 0.38 gigabytes to 0.86 gigabytes to 1.17 gigabytes per hour. So just gives you an idea of how much data it would be using. And we have some ability for the sound and I guess closed captioning. And we can also shrink it back down if we want, like that. And if you want to close the app, you just press the X like that. So there we go with the Hollywood mode. Unfortunately, it is just 2, and as far as this goes, the YouTube doesn't let me log in, but I can still use YouTube on here. So let me wait till that starts up and I'll show you. Oh, by the way, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. All right, so if we want, I'm going to click on my last video here. Hello and welcome to my video. Today I'm going to be going over the options for Fisker Ocean owners in 2026. I'll show you the recently received FOA email and I'll go over the OV loop and other options. Then I'll give you my take and editorial. All right, so let's get started. Let's pause it real quick. And I think it defaults to 720p. I think we'll go up to 1080p. I'm going to close this comment section here. Should be full screen. And we will start. The recent FOA board vote went on to approve the tiered approach. All right, so we have YouTube. We can play. I would suggest 1080p. On previous tests, I tried to do higher 4K and those were kind of stuttery, but HD 1080p seems to work fine. So if you want to quit, just tap the screen, we'll shrink it down, and then I can press the X in the corner there, and that will exit it. All right, so press X to exit, and there we have those 2 links there. So that's all there is for Hollywood mode. I wish they would add some additional apps such as Netflix or Disney. So I guess we'll see if there's any more coming. So if we press the home button again, we'll switch back to the portrait display. Next, we have Autokit. And if we press Autokit here, this is the setup screen. And now here is my Samsung Android phone. I am now going to connect it to the CarLink kit with the USB-C. And it is connecting. Shows the Android Auto symbol right there. I have music loaded on my Android phone. It happens to have a 512 gigabyte micro SD card. So I have a whole bunch of FLAC music files on there. So that's what's playing right there. We also have a weather widget down here. And then most of the main screen is Google Maps. If you want to see full screen Google Maps, you can press the Google Maps icon on the bottom, and you can switch between the different apps there. For example, I'm going to click on this one. We have music. You can click on, go back to Google. So a bunch of different options there. On the bottom, we have the button to go through the different modes here. We have this combo mode that I first showed that started. If you want to see all the apps in the app grid, you can see them down here. I noticed on Android Auto, it doesn't fill the entire screen with the grid like it does with Apple CarPlay. So it works slightly differently. And here you can have your apps, and you could scroll through if you have more. You can also customize. Let me unlock the phone. And then I can go into the phone itself and customize the apps where they're located on the screen. Very similar to how CarPlay does its organization of the app icons. So once you get them where you like, you can save that. Then there's also a settings button here. And you can go through a whole bunch of different things that you'd like to have as your choices here. You can have some message notifications, play message chime, start Android Auto automatically, start music automatically, use phone wallpaper, day-night mode, driver seat location, quick control for apps, electric vehicle settings. So you can set which are the compatible charging cables for you. So charging connections, J1772 and CCS1 are the two. And then what else do we have here? And then there's some more settings you can do on the phone. And that's about it. You have your choice of maps. For example, let's go into the app icons again. So on my Android phone, I have Google Maps and Waze as the two mapping systems. So you can choose between them. I'll go into more detail on Google Maps and Apple Maps in the driving portion of the video, which will be coming up next. So now we've seen the wired Android Auto. Let's go and try the wireless. So I am now going to disconnect the phone. Should go back to the main Autokit menu right here. Since I have two phones connected, I'm going to turn Wi-Fi off on my iOS so I don't have any interference here. And now I'm going to go back to the main screen. I am now going to go and press the Wi-Fi button. And I am going to select A15 since that's the Samsung model that I have. And now it should show that it is connecting. And now you'll see the same thing. We have the Android Auto working with the phone wirelessly. Everything that I showed you is going to be basically the same. So that's it. So I showed you the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, both the wired and wireless settings. Oh, I want to tell you one more thing. You can go back and forth between the Android Auto and the Apple CarPlay screens and the main Fisker Ocean menu by pressing this button down here, the home button. Just pressing that brings you right back to the ICC screen. And if you want to go back into Android Automotive or Apple CarPlay, just press the Autokit button again. So you can go back and forth pretty easily. In addition, if you happen to have your backup camera on or any of the cameras on, it will also display in Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So for example, if I have my rear camera on right now, let's press Autokit, and now you'll see the camera is in Autokit. It will show the video. So when you're backing up, it'll show the image from the camera, and then when you start driving, it disappears. However, you can manually have the camera up like I did right here, and the weird thing about it is you can't close it from inside the Autokit. You have to go back out to the ICC here and then press X, and that's how you get out of that if you manually bring up the camera. Normally, if you're just putting the car in reverse, it comes up automatically and disappears automatically. You don't need to do anything. But I just wanted to show you that since I found that was interesting. Now let's go and do some driving, and I'll show you examples of using both the wired and wireless and some of the navigation features. And now I'm going to be testing my Android phone with Android Auto. So I'm going to connect the USB to the phone. As you can see, it's connecting, showing the Android Auto symbol. Hey Google, drive to work. And there we go. We can hit the start button and away it goes. I am going to cancel it, and I am going to start again using the button on the steering wheel, the voice assistant. Let me try that one. Drive to work. And pretty much the same results. So you can use voice with the button or just talk directly to the Android Auto. I am going to press start, and let's begin the drive. Go into settings. Traffic is on, 3D buildings are on, alerts are on. Let's change the map view and go to satellite. Like Google Maps on the iPhone, this is pretty similar interface. You have the controls up top, you have the settings, we have the speaker for voice, we have the direction, we have hazards in the road. We also have this button here for EV. That's kind of nice. So we have EV map filters here. Then on the bottom, we have the time to arrival, miles to arrival, and the estimated time to arrival. We can cancel, we can choose a different route, we can add another stop, and we can also change the route look. There's also a plus and minus for zooming in. What's interesting is that the Google Maps for the iPhone doesn't allow permanent zooming in and out, while this one does. So kind of interesting difference between the OSs. All right, so I'm about halfway to work. I'm going to change the setup now. I am going to cancel out of Google Maps. And I'm also going to try Waze out, and I'm also going to try wireless. So Let's disconnect the phone. Now I'm connecting to my Android phone wirelessly through Wi-Fi. And now I'm using Waze. Let me select it just to show you. This is Waze. And now I'm going to continue the rest of the drive using the Waze app and the phone on Wi-Fi. And just so you know, my Android phone doesn't have an active SIM card in it. I rely on using it just with Wi-Fi for my testing. So if you have a regular Android phone with a data plan, you'll work like any other phone. So mine is connected to the CarLink kit with Wi-Fi, so it's not getting data from the car, which I usually have using the car's hotspot. So right now it's not connected. So you notice right here it says offline. I'm still able to use the maps and everything with no data, but I'm not getting anything active. I'm not getting traffic and other things like that. So just to let you know, with a regular phone, you're not going to have an issue with that. Mine is just a special example since I just use my phone with Wi-Fi. I am not a regular Waze user, so I'll show you what we have up here. We have the miles, 2.9 miles. We have a button here. I'm not sure what this one does. Oh, using offline maps. We have a search button. We also have a voice button for sound. We have sound on, sound off, alerts only. Let me turn sound on so you can hear what that sounds like. And what else we have? We have miles per hour down here. We have map zoom. So we can zoom in and out. I think that is zoomed in all the way. Then we can also report hazards. And there we go. All right, well, there we go. This is using Waze. I showed you Google Maps, and I did it both using wired and wireless. So you got a good example of how the navigation works with Android Auto. Of course, there's a whole bunch of other apps you could be using in addition. You could have music playing in the background if you wish. If you need to go back into the main screen, just press the Fisker home button. And just like before when I showed on iOS, just press the Autokit to go back into it. So pretty fast. And when I disconnect the Wi-Fi, so I'll show that right now. If I go into Wi-Fi and turn it off, you'll see this will now turn back to the main Autokit menu. Okay, well, that's it for Android Auto. And now for the conclusion. If you're looking for a CarPlay and Android Auto features for the navigation and music, the 2.6 update works well either in wired or wireless modes. But for calls, I have had good experience and not so good experience. The wired was fine, but the wireless was kind of iffy. Some other testers have had issues with both wired and wireless. So this is being looked at for a follow-up update within a couple weeks. Hollywood mode is very slow, as you saw in the video, to the point of being unusable in the current state. We are told a new browser will be coming that helps with the login issues for YouTube. We are looking at a phone mirror mode that can be used with either the iPhone or Android in a follow-up update. This will allow you to use your phone apps for display on the screen in landscape or Hollywood mode while parked, so you could play videos through apps on your phone. This would avoid the slowdown that we've seen with the Hollywood mode apps that are built on the browser of the Fisker Ocean. Next, PK22 was supposed to be with OS 2.6, but it has been delayed due to fixing a number of bugs that were found. Chevalier is now working on that. I'll let you know in a future video of any status updates, but I do expect it to be added to the 2.6 update at some point. The OS 2.5 bugs that some people have encountered are not addressed in this update. The most important being the Bluetooth, which in OS 2.2 seemed to work pretty well, but it appears that it's not in the code base for 2.5 or 2.6. So we are hoping that will be coming also in the update. I myself have not had any issues with Bluetooth disconnections, but some owners with 2.5 are experiencing it. Next, the lock chime themes revert to default after the car deep sleeps, and the HVAC save settings can sometimes change. Something that hasn't happened to me is the regen settings for fun and hyper that don't always match what they're set to. All of these items are being worked on for a future update since they are deeper in the system and may require the assistance of Harman to resolve. The fixes for these items will be called 2.5.2 and will be at no additional cost for owners that purchase 2.5. 2.6 will also get a follow-up maintenance release. Features from 2.5 that are working for me include the energy mode setting for 2 hours, the auto setting for light and dark display themes, estimated range reset, 12-volt battery monitor on the charging screen, and torque vectoring. All of these work great for me. Look for OS 2.6 to be publicly released in the next week. I'm also going to be covering some add-ons that you can attach to the system, for example, an AI box in future videos. This will add more capability to the system and allow you to do some fun things. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.